All right, now it is 9:10 in US East Coast, 6:40 in India, and 5:10 in Dubai. We shall start our session. Fine. So I will go start with today's topic. So today's is power of acceptance. Two things here: power of acceptance of what is. So there is a two parts into this one. So what is the power of acceptance? Acceptance of what? Acceptance of what is. What is means what has been manifested already in this universe. And in fact, the whole universe is called all that is. And everything which is there manifested, that is called universe. And that is the truth and that is the reality. And this reality, when we accept, then we become part of the truth. I repeat here, if we accept what the manifested universe is, no matter which form, it can be form of who am I, or my relationships, or my situation, or my surroundings, or my experiences, whatever. These are all manifested. It's a universe has manifested something. If we accept that, I become part of the universe. There is no conflict. There is no collision. When I become a part of it, I become part of the whole, the oneness. Only thing what I have to do, I have to accept what that is. The non-acceptance comes from this idea that I need this, I need that, but I don't need what I have. So this, it is, I mentioned in the explanation of the topic, to have to grow for the more prosperity, more knowledge and understanding and more experience. This is a normal human nature. It is, everybody should thrive for that. But what we do is, in the hope of getting that, we reject what is. This second part is counterproductive. You cannot grow from somewhere by criticizing it. Suppose if a plant is growing towards the sky, it cannot criticize the soil from where it has come. It has to accept that reality and then use it as a platform to grow, not criticizing it. If you keep criticizing, keep changing the bases, and ultimately you will be nowhere. You will never grow. So acceptance of what is the fundamental thing to start growing. It cannot come from the criticism or non-acceptance of what we have. Any kind of healing starts with acceptance that what is. I have shared my story of alcoholism. If I don't accept that, at that time I'm saying, accept that my life is unmanageable. It is an issue for me. I never accept the deficiency in me or whatever the bad habit in me. I can never get a clue how to get healed from that. That makes sense? What I'm saying? If I say, no, okay, I drink, but it is okay, I can manage. That means I am in a denial mode. Healing cannot start from that space. Accepting the reality is a foundation of any kind of growth. That growth cannot start with a criticism. In the morning, I was giving another example to understand what these kind of things. Suppose somebody is in class 3, study in class 3 and wanted to get promoted to class 5. Nothing wrong in that. Wanted to grow. But if that student keep criticizing the study of the class 3, criticizing the student, I mean the teacher, criticizing whatever assignment, not doing anything. He said, no, I'm what for 5. I don't want 3. Then what will happen? That student will remain in class 3. You have to accept that you are at class 3. Then only the possibility of going to class 5 exists. If you reject class 3, you will never be able to go to class 5. You accept, then you learn whatever is needed to learn, outgrow that phase, pass from that class, go to class 4, and then class 5 will appear. So we cannot go wherever you wanted to go or the growth by criticizing where you are. So this is the fundamental misunderstanding. We in our heart, we hate whatever we have. We criticize everything we have and start hoping that some magic will happen and on somebody, some Baba will come and bless me and I will be all my problem will be solved. It is complete nonsense. Don't go into that expectation at all. Okay, it is not happen. Only you understand that you are the co-creator of your life. Only you can manifest something. What masters can do, they teach you how to get the nonsense out of your, the life and bring out your power and use that power to grow. That is the only thing they will teach you. They will just like a road signs, which direction to go. If you're going in opposite direction, they say, go in this way. That's all. They will not drive the car for you. And the truth is, it is not possible. If I say, on your behalf, I will meditate for you and you will get enlightened, it is complete nonsense. Okay. Don't buy that kind of thing. It's not possible. It is your journey. You have to walk. Only help, support, direction, yes. Guidance, yes. Sharing of experience, yes. But to that journey, you have to accept where you are. Not criticize it. Another example I have given, like climbing a ladder. Suppose you wanted to climb a ladder, you have put a ladder you wanted to go from one place to top of some block or say rooftop of a small house, one-story house. You put a ladder. Now to climb the ladder, you have to stabilize yourself in the lower steps first, no? The second or third step, then you go fourth, then fifth and all. You cannot reject the lower steps and think that I can go directly on the top. It is not possible. You have to accept, appreciate the lower steps and then move to the next, then move to the next, accept that, then move to the next. And that's how you reach to the top. It is not possible by criticizing and not accepting what is. Means ladder is just a analogy, like whichever step you are standing, you have to accept that and say thank you that you are giving me this platform so that from here I can move further. I can take the base of that and move further. Without that acceptance of that step, you cannot go further. So anyway, overall, I hope that the idea is clear. And I started with these things, accepting of what it is, not criticizing and labeling. Good, bad, ugly, useless, these kind of things is counterproductive. This will not be helpful. Accept and then move on. Learn and move on. That's what I've given example of class 3 to class 5 also. Okay, so it is acceptance that gives you the power to move forward, not criticizing. And I was mentioning about this this alcoholism habit and all this kind of stuff, there is a help group. It is a spiritual program called Alcoholic Anonymous. And they have, very good theme of, they come out with some kind of theme and the learning, the collective learning. So they are sharing that collective learning is accept the things you cannot change and courage to change the things you can. And third is wisdom to know the difference. See, it is a beautiful spiritual quote. I repeat, Then they preach, accept the things you cannot change. You cannot change everything in your life. You accept it. How to grow from there? The way just I explained, it is the first step. And courage to change the things you can. After doing a lot of analysis, because most of the people, they go into this kind of, addictions and habit because they think that nothing is working in their life. They got frustrated and all those things because this frustration comes from non-acceptance of what is. So what they are saying is, if you cannot control something, you accept it. That is the way out, or way forward rather. And courage to change the things you can means whatever things you can change, have the courage to change. If you overall analyze the whole issue of your life, you can realize only thing you can change is yourself. You don't have control to anything else outside you. Anything, no matter whatever it is. Okay, you cannot change somebody else, something else, something you don't like, something outside don't like. You keep fighting. It is not possible. Only you have a control over yourself. So only thing you focus on changing yourself. There is a quotation, no? Earlier I was smart, I wanted to change the world. Now I am wise, I wanted to change myself. Okay. So this transition is spiritual. It is all about self-realization. And the third line, what the Alcoholic Anonymous AA, they are teaching, that is wisdom to accept the things you cannot change, courage to change the things you can, and wisdom to know the difference. This will give you the wisdom that what thing is changeable, what is not, which can be accepted. And in doing these two things, you will outgrow whatever situation you are in. Because you are not in tussle or obstacle with anything. You get the wisdom to click through. That is your ascension code to ascend that level. And that ascension starts with acceptance. And there are, in Gautam Buddha, he used to teach his disciples that, the level, I told the equanimity, that level where good, bad, something doesn't matter. I was sharing other stories also. Somebody came and abusing him and it doesn't matter to him and things like that. So equanimity, that gives raise to your state. That is state, that is called serenity. You enjoy that level called serenity. It is a blissful state. What Gautam Buddha was teaching, that serenity comes when you trade expectation with acceptance. Okay, I repeat Gautam Buddha's quote. Okay, serenity comes. Serenity means the high spiritual state of a blissful state of equanimity. That is called serenity. Where nothing can disturb you. That is called serenity. Serenity comes when you trade all your expectations. You give away the expectations, and in that you get the acceptance. Okay, suppose I don't like something like too much crowd on the road. I don't like. So every day I drive, I'll be irritated and frustrated and things, and keep, on the way to office, I will say, "Okay, all this nonsense, why they are creating problems and this and that." So anyway, our mood will be down when I enter my office, right? This way, forget about serenity. Even your normal state will go. Okay, your peace of mind will go. You cannot perform with a normal outcome. You cannot give. But in other way, if I expect that there'll be less people on the road, less car on the road. This is my expectation. It is not the truth. It is not the reality. It's not what is. Only thing what I need to do, I need to trade the expectation that there'll be no people, less car on the road and things like that. That expectation I have to trade. I have to give that, and I get the acceptance back. I accept whatever it is. Okay, 200 cars on the road, I'm fine. 500 on the road, that is also fine. Okay, traffic jam, I'm fine. Okay, accept it. Accept the things you cannot change. You cannot reduce the car on the street. No? So when you accept, your life will be peaceful. So when you accept that, then those kind of things will no longer bother you. I teach many a times, don't give your control to somebody else or something else to trigger you. Something else outside you. If the cars on the street can trigger you, that means you are giving the power to control your peace of mind to the cars on the street, which you have no control. So what you can do is, you can trade that expectation with acceptance. Acceptance is the key. Any kind of relationship, people are going good qualities and bad qualities. Every glass is half full and half empty. Okay. Now the thing is, look at this, any relationship you have with anyone, Now, if somebody is having some good qualities, everybody will appreciate. What is the big deal? To have a long-term relationship with anyone, what it depends on? It depends on how many of, I should not use the word bad, how many of not so good qualities you can accept. Percentage of that will depend how long your relationship will survive. It is not about somebody else. That glass is also half empty and half full. If I have to have a long-term relationship with anyone, it depends upon, I'm just repeating, it depends upon how many of not so good qualities, not what nobody likes, I can accept. If I can accept 100%, it will be a wonderful relationship. No problem at all. Lifelong relationship. 100% acceptance. Okay. If we touch upon that, 100% acceptance, I tried that experiment. My experience was not being present. I explained earlier also. I can do many things in my family. It is my practice as if 60 years back there is no Rajdeep. After 60 years from now, there will be no Rajdeep either. So how does it matter if today also Rajdeep does not exist? So I played that role of non-existence Rajdeep. So I didn't interfere with anything. And that exercise sorted out many things because it came from accept. I don't exist. So my opinion, my interference doesn't exist also. No? So automatically there is 100% acceptance of what is. So that experiments gives certain aspects some power. Then we get some power back that you catch up on this relationship at a higher level with a pure love. You know, that's a spiritual guide, one lady called Teal Son, you know, her name. She has a lot of video. She is saying acceptance is currency of love. It is a very beautiful thing she said. Acceptance is currency of love means pure love. Because acceptance also need power. And also acceptance cannot come if you don't have self-love. All this acceptance of the world starts with you. If I don't accept myself in toto, again, that half full everybody likes and half empty also. I have to like myself. When I express myself from the self-love, you know, I was telling, Shreyashi, in a question I was answering that the fear annihilation technique and go back to the state of self-love. Self-love gives self-acceptance. And that we operate from that, then we can accept others very easily. Because I accepted myself in toto as it is. This is a false idea that if we accept, that means we are compromising. Okay. It is not about compromise. It is acceptance of all that is. In the compromise and similar type of what sacrifice, another thing started, and we had a session on that also, the poverty consciousness and all these things. I'm not going there. I'm saying that there is no self-acceptance or acceptance of all that is not a compromise. It is a very powerful state when you operate from that power, and then your acceptance will go infinite. When you touch this part, you listen very carefully. When you touch that, first self-love, 100%. You unleash that your inner power, the soul's power, and then from there you look at the world. And when you look at from that, you look at the world, you will see how perfect the world is. It is just contrary to most of us, we look at the world. Everything is perfect, the way it is manifested. You can see from that the godliness into everything. I'm not telling as a theory. If you go deep and deep into anything, you will find after a certain level, no science can explain that. Very higher level of intelligence, very higher level of engineering, very higher level of design is involved there. It cannot happen by accident. And the awe-struck, when you reach to that truth, whoever got that enlightened, first few years, they just keep silent. They got awe-struck. In Hindi, they call balti bandh ho jate. And there are many bad words also, people is ekdam lag jate hain. So many like that. So truly that kind of sensation happens. Looking at the truth and the beauty in it, the perfectness into everything, whatever your life experiences so far, they used to run away from the back door. It is completely the paradigm shift. You are realizing the huge truth. And to absorb that within you takes long time. And that's why those people get silent. That is called silence period on spiritual path. Okay. So that also happens. In my case, it happened 2010 to end of 2013. Okay, 3.5 and 4 years almost. Okay. So anyway, after that, Babaji came and said, your silence period is over, you go and, share your experience to others. So that is you already know in my life story. But before that, it was like that. What is that? There, when you touch upon that, you feel that oneness. Forget about acceptance. You feel the perfectness in everything. There is no compromise. It is so powerful. If something, I normally give example, suppose you are walking, barefoot on a grass lawn and you got a nail, there was a nail and you got a nail passing through your leg and it was paining and blood coming out and things like that. You have to go to doctor to remove it and things like that. But that pain, what you felt by stepping on a nail, that also has got utilization. That is what has a purpose. Unless until that part is paining, your attention will not go there. You will not consult a doctor. Over the period of time, you ignore it because there is no pain. So slowly, the gangrene will form, and at the end of it, you may have to amputate your leg. You will lose your leg just because you didn't remove that small nail from your whatever had in your foot. So that pain is also having the utility to draw your attention. So you project it into a bigger scale. If some part of your life, it is painful, that is drawing your attention, you need to do something about it. That's all. It is not good and bad and things like that. Okay, you have to outgrow that. If it is a karmic, finish your karmic part and then get out of it. Close the account. And something, if it is unnecessary, just change the route. You need not to face that. Okay, have the courage to change whatever you can. And if you cannot, accept the things. It will make your life easy. Okay, and finally the wisdom that comes out of it. The wisdom come out of it is that I am not God. It is not my responsibility to correct each and every wrong things or injustices in the world. Okay, so it is, I have to do only what is within my purview, under my direct control, we can change that. And end of that exercise, you will come to know that only you can change yourself, nothing else. That is, I'm just give the conclusion of that research well in advance. Okay, then you grow, you get enlightened, and you operate from that. Okay, so that has also got a utility. No? Okay. So, all right. So I think this is that I touch upon that. I will now take questions. So you can ask questions. So if you have any question. Yes, Sreshi.
Yes, you said about relationships that how much ever we can accept the not so good qualities.
Your voice is not very clear. Can you make it little closer to microphone or something? Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
You said that in terms of relationships, the more we can accept the not so good qualities,
yeah,
the higher the chances of having that long-term relationship. So in that regard, I wanted to ask that sometimes people don't show their true, they show only the good side.
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't show the not so good sides. So how do you decide in that case?
Mm-hmm.
How do we come to the conclusion that we can accept as long as we don't see the not so good qualities.
Yeah. So there is a two-part to it. One is you cannot know the future behavior of somebody. Okay. So it's a truth. You have to accept that. You have to take certain amount of risk. It is a reality. Okay. Because this comes under the free will of somebody. I often get this request. Okay, I'm getting a so and so. My son is getting married, or my daughter is getting married to so and so. Can you check whether that fellow is good? I cannot tell good or bad, or how that person will behave 5 years from now. What will be their mental condition? Okay, because this comes under their free will. Thoughts, words, and actions, the three things are under their direct control. I cannot predict. Means spirituality cannot predict somebody else's behavior and their state of mind after a certain while. It's not possible. What can be done is overall we can send the healing and the energetically so that things are protected, or if not much harm doesn't happen, things like that. That can be done. But predict whether it's a good or it's impossible. Okay. So, but at the same time, that acceptance is a secondary part. Acceptance comes when you already selected. But before that, you have an option. No? You have experience. You have that ability to, check, judge, background check, or whatever check you wanted to have the enough information, or in your language, enough data to come to a conclusion. No? Okay, collect the data, analyze the data, and then take a reasonable decision based on that. But 100% prediction, not possible. And to tell you the truth, even how you will behave, nobody also can tell. Okay, that can come from your side also. Some relationship may not survive because something may be contributed by you. That is also a possibility, because you also have a free will, same free will. So we cannot predict that. Okay. But the data can be analyzed to find out whether it is, reasonably. Means you cannot give 100% because there are many, many very good families, but some of their children become useless and nonsense, become criminal. That also happened. Okay. Some of them came for very uneducated background, but he's a wonderful person. Okay, this also happens. So you judge, you have the instrument, judge your own own way, and then take a decision. And certain amount of thing, I'm telling you right now, you cannot predict. You have to take that calculated risk. Okay, if you think only about the risk, you cannot marry anyone. Because there is no one in this world who is 100% perfect. Even to the spiritual masters, when they take the body, human body, they are not 100% perfect. They have a limitation. They have a little bit of bias. They have a little bit of some, what is called pronunciation problem and things like that. Don't think the enlightened master written one paragraph, it is, absolutely correcting. It's not. You can see a lot of spelling mistakes in my writing. Okay. I'm saying that this comes as a practical level. It is nothing to do with your spiritual, the level and all those things. Even people used to joke, even Satta Sai Baba has to shave every morning, to show him clean face. Means this is a mundane activities, daily activities, even the masters have to do. Spirituality cannot come and shave your beard. No? That is as simple as that. Okay. So you take it that way. So as long as you are in the physical body, you have the limitations. In soul level, it's completely pure. When they meditate, it's completely, they are in light, part of the light. But when they are running a physical body, these things that is normal. Okay. So you have to accept that. And here, that's why our topic today, accept what is. Not your ideal figure. That never exists. And that is why it is called, what Gautam Buddha told, all your expectations, trade with acceptance. If you come to that mode, no matter how you you are. Once I have selected you, no matter how you are, I will accept. Your life get easy. Okay. But at certain point of time, it is also the truth. If you say it is impossible to live with someone, you quit. Suppose some same as a job. If some in my job, I cannot, suppose getting deprived of many things, I'm not getting support, boss is not cooperating, me, I have to quit. It has nothing to do with me. That this time has come to outgrow that. So that is same here. Okay, so many people also ask me that if I divorce my husband or divorce my wife, should I get a karma? Okay. The answer to that is, that sometime or other everybody's mind it plays. All married people, they know very well what I'm talking. Okay. Because that 100% acceptance has not come. No? That's why this thought comes. I understand that. Okay. And in the answer is of that level, whatever decision you make, if you can explain to the other party with a full understanding and clarity, then you take a decision to take the divorce, no karma will be there. But if you hide, run away, definitely you need another life to settle that. Okay. So nothing wrong in getting separate, being separated, but make it clear. Make your intention clear, share the information, give your, your feelings clear, then take a combined decision. That's fine. Okay. Anyway, so those are the different aspects of this, because we come here in this world to learn lessons on three things. First is the money matters. Because there is no other dimension, money is there. For money lesson, we come to earth. Second is about our health, how to maintain health, how to be healthy. And third is relationship. And in these three areas, our karma works. Okay. But also it is true, whatever you think, I'm selecting, rejecting, going away, taking divorce and all this, these are all drama. These are all it's written before you take birth. Okay. To whom you will get married, it is also written. When the things will come, you will be blindly going and marrying that person. Okay. All this analysis will go away. Okay. Because karma will play that time. Okay. So this is how it works. So rest of the things are drama. And drama is also needed for our experiences. Okay.
So a follow up on this, do you think this analysis that you are saying is also coming from ego mind?
Oh yes. Ego only wanted to calculate, even in the relationship. Okay. So in the relationship, how much love I will express? Is it 67% enough, or I have to do 71%? These are all analysis of mind. Heart doesn't know the calculation. Okay, it just simply express itself. Okay, love is to be felt. Okay, relationship needs to be experienced. It cannot be calculated. And in fact, all calculation fail. What I talked so far, I'm saying go beyond calculation. Go to a zone where no calculation can reach. You touch the infinite. You don't need any parameter to think, because you are operating from that level. If somebody is 0, that is also acceptable. Somebody is 100%, that is also acceptable. You are operating from equanimity. And you retain serenity. It doesn't matter who is there. And it is not a tit for tat either. If the other party does this, then I will do this. And then it's not depending upon the other. It's completely freedom from that. Okay. So that's what it is called, that in the relationship, you detach from the lower level, then you will get access to the higher level. It's called detached attachment. Because in higher level, everybody is pure. At soul level, it is not possible that somebody is impure because it is a soul's quality. Souls take enter into a drama with a role of a hero or villain or whatever. They play the role. So we judge the whole thing as per the role. It is not that. In any movie, the role the characters are playing, okay, in real life, they may be completely opposite. There are a lot of villains. They are highly spiritual and very evolved, very nice person in the real life. So same here. In the soul level, we are all pure. So connect there. Leave that lower part. All right? Any other question?
Yeah.
Okay. God bless you. Yes, sure.
Yeah, not to lighten up your spiritual direction, but I think to Shreyasi, I was remembering, I just Googled up, I forgot the name of the movie. I watched the movie, the Bollywood movie, Saif Ali Khan and Rani Mukherjee, Hum Tum. I think that movie explains, the first half of the movie explains what you go through when you think about someone else and what's the reality that follows up in the second part of the movie. But sorry, I have a question for you in terms of when you say that wow moment came to your life.
Yeah.
Did you experience anything in the sense that why me? Why I was chosen? Did you ask that question?
No, because me didn't exist.
Oh.
Yeah. Me is completely dissolved. Otherwise, this is not possible. As long as I is there, enlightenment is not possible. The me is gone completely. Okay. Just let me give you in another words what Guruji Prem Nirmalji, he says. If you think that I am not enlightened, you are not. If you think that I am enlightened, then you are not either. Because as long as I is there, enlightenment is not possible. There is no one to claim that I am enlightened. You see, as long as I is there, no?
Mm-hmm.
I am enlightened. Why me? Me is not there. So you merge with that divinity. Your individual existence is merged. So question also that why me also does not arise because of that. It makes some sense? Yeah?
Yeah, but when you said that lag jata hai, to kisko lagta hai?
No. That the physical body, it never experienced this before.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That I was I was.
That is not I.
That
is the expression. The physical body has never experienced this before.
Mm.
Okay, so the silence comes, that experience of the truth. You merge with that experience. I is not there. It is not in the sense of that you are getting punished. There is no I.
Or rewarded.
Yes, there is no such thing. Reward, punishment, both are gone. But the state, your initial state of that is silence. What I was experienced from where that silence coming? Silence is coming from that transition of awareness. Wow moment, irrespective of the person.
मतलब मैं नहीं तू ही not me thou.
Yeah, that is correct. So that experience of oneness happens. Okay, let me put it in another way. Then you can feel, okay, if you have the sense of I, then you become a bigger I. Not small I. Small I means your ego. Bigger I's experience is, because it is a oneness, no? You feel that you are the creator of this universe. Actually, this is the truth. That is the oneness. You are the creator of the universe. It is everything. Sun is rising for you. You know, this all the flowers and birds are chirping for you. You created that. That beauty. All rainbow is happening because of you. Okay, that this kind of experience, it is a oneness experience. You become vast. You don't depend upon small things कि किसको लग गया. Okay, किसी को लगा नहीं. But I'm saying the transition to that itself is awestruck. Suddenly expanded awareness in that phase is awestruck experience. That's why it becomes silent. Because it is no way you can express that. That's why Balti Band ho gaya. Okay, I've just used the slang but the other way around. Ki Bolti kaise band ho jata hai. That's a different thing. Just to give some kind of lower example, but that is not the experience. Experience is a very, evolved high-level experience. And the experience of this oneness, that you are that. Because you are saying, not me, it is you and you. But I am talking further. I am saying, you are that. Soham. Okay. Shiva Om. So that experience. Okay. I am that. That I is a bigger I. It is nothing to do with your ego. Ego doesn't have a capacity to experience this kind of things.
But can you stay in that frame?
Yes, we can.
Always.
Yeah, you can. Actually, that is the reason they don't want to come back and they become silent and get detached from the world.
I mean, whether body can sustain that?
Oh, yes. Of course. Body can, of course, sustain that.
But because in that state, then there is no desire.
There is no desire. It is only pure joy, infinite joy.
But then how body will sustain? I mean, one has to shed the body. I mean, it automatically drops down.
No need, because you can come back also. See, it is. Let us take it that way. Like I normally give an example of a building. Suppose that is a seventh state. Okay, you have a building. Normally you have a first floor, ground floor, first floor, second floor. So each your sadhana are building one floor. Assume that seventh is the maximum floor possible. Just assume. Okay. So at your will, if you reach to the seventh, you build up your building up to the seventh story, you can choose which level you will stay, which floor you will be your bedroom. So if you wish seventh floor to be your bedroom all the time, seventh floor you will stay. You are the owner of the building. You can stay all the time. And this is also the answer to some people think, if you go to that level, can you do the normal activity? Can you come down and this thing? Of course, yes. Because you have a 7-story building, that does not mean the first floor or second floor has gone. At your will, you can come down. If you come down and do criminal activity, it's possible. It is not gone. Become a choice. But that level, nobody has that kind of choice. But if somebody wishes, they can stay in the ground for all the time. They experience, come back and stay there.
But once you experience that thing,
yeah,
whether you will come back to lower this thing,
oh yes,
I don't think so, because
lower vibration.
That is more blissful state.
No, lower vibration. See, then it is actually a different topic. So I was trying to not to go there today, but as you ask the question, let me answer this. After you reach there, listen this part very carefully. You become one with the universal consciousness.
Yes.
Okay. I don't use the word God, so I'm avoiding that. Okay. Whatever that universal qualities, that you will operate from there.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Let me take the name of God for little bit better wording. whatever God wants to do for the humanity, you will be God's representative to do that.
Yeah.
Because you already merged with God. Okay, now you come down and become His agent to do the same thing for the people. That's why we'll come back.
Right.
Not because you don't like that or you cannot stay there, and not because of that. Not because कि हम नीचे आएंगे तो मेरा लग जाएगी दोबारा. This is not that. It is not that. Okay. It is not running away from the negative thing. First thing I started today's topic, acceptance of what is not to run away from anything. Accept what is. In fact, when you come down for a divine purpose, to help others, to show light, or be light, hold the light, so that people can get the light.
Yeah.
They get it automatically. Okay, so this is not, you are not compromising, you are not losing. Again and again I'm saying, when you touch upon that thing, it is not possible that you will lose something. It becomes your choice. And that time, when you ascend from that energy level, vibration level, only so that you can operate from the domain where other people you can share.
Sure. Okay.
Because everybody cannot go there.
Yes.
Share others to at least go one step further. That's it. So you come down by choice. In fact, again, some story, Guruji, Prem Nimalji's thing, I just started laughing. Guruji said, twice I wanted to leave the body because the purpose of my life is over. Means Guruji's body was over. Means it got already. So twice he wanted to, and you know the technique how to leave the body also. Very easy. Not a suicide, but in the meditation you can leave the consciousness. It's possible. Okay. He said twice I tried, and Babaji laat maar ke wapas kiya body ke andar. Your mission is not completed. You finished your mission. Anyway, it's jokingly telling, but you basically come down to help others, to help the humanity to grow, spread this, the Brahma Gyan, universal knowledge. That becomes your mission. Not that you want something. It is unconditional. You're just sharing. Okay. All right. So I will not go further on that on today. It's a different topic altogether. So I'll leave it there. Any other question?
Sir, I have a question.
Okay. Sonika, I'll come back to you. Varsha? Okay.
Sir, so actually, like 2 years back, I joined MBBS. That I had joined at that time because of, I don't know, like the society pressure at home. No one pressurized, but in my mind, I just thought that, the society pressure and the respect and things. And then these days, like it has got me to, thinking that it's not all about the respect, and I don't enjoy it that much. Like, as the course as such and the hierarchy and a lot of things, the pressure and stuff. So it's like now it's not like I can leave the course. So it's becoming really hard for me to accept it that it's a long course and it's like going to take a lot of effort from my end and be in the course. So how do I go about that?
Okay. See, rightly or wrongly, you have chosen a path. Okay. You started walking the path, and during the course of the walking, it will be always ups and downs. Okay. Understand that. It's not always what you expected. The expectation has to go.
Yes.
When you accept what is, that is the today's topic, no? If you remove the expectation, what you thought about this course, then you will find you are learning something new, no matter what it is. Okay. Ultimately, when you become a medical professional doctor, then you will help the humanity, no? Okay. Help others, help the patients and all, and that way you express yourself, whatever your contribution to the world. For that, you need that degree, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So once you selected, now already in 2 years, even not in the initial 1 or 2 months, then you can, change it and things like that. If you change it now, you will lose that 2 years. Okay, so I think it will be wise to continue with that and accept that this path. This you have chosen. Don't go on the disliking mode because it will not give you the ultimate thing. No? You cannot. That's what today I was explaining, that we cannot walk with a disliking of where to reach, where we are.
Yes, sir.
So try to get whatever you can learn from it and move on. When you go to a level, then you can, the purpose of your life will come back. It will be revealed to you rather. Okay, so it is a very noble profession, but we go ahead with that. Don't look at what the market is and all this kind of stuff. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You will get whatever you have written in the script at the soul level. Okay. It will happen to you. Even if there is no job in the market, somebody will come and offer you a job.
And we will need you.
Yeah.
All of us will need you.
So that don't worry about the predict something, the bad will happen and there's no future and this, doom and gloom theory. Why my advice is walk the path, give whatever effort you can give, but liking and disliking is all in your mind. Okay. You need that degree to operate in the society, and that's what you are doing now. Okay.
Yes,
so
sir.
without that, you cannot practice, you cannot do anything of that nature. Nobody will accept that. Society. Once you cross that, then you choose whether you like to do something else. That is up to you. But once you started, you complete that. No matter, long and short is a very comparative thing. Like in our engineering, we have done for 4 years. But we get retired in 60, and the doctors, they do private practice up to say 85, 90. Okay. So we compensated the later part of the year. So every profession has its pros and cons. So of course it may take about 7, 8 years to complete. I understand that, but it is necessary for you to, once you started, you complete it, okay. Okay. Just to accept the things and move on.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
All right. Sonika, you wanted to ask something?
Yes, I feel. I have a question, something related to Vikas only. If we reach to that state, can we meditate, like when we are in a silence period, can we meditate for 20 hours? Like if for 4 hours we are working or 6 hours we are working and rest of the 18 hours we want to just meditate, is it feasible? Will body cooperate? Or
before I go to your question, first, is it right that you are understanding more spiritually evolved people are more time they have to meditate? Is that you are coming from?
No.
So from where this point?
My question is, if I wish to meditate for suppose 12 hours, will my body cooperate? Or I feel hungry and thirsty and all those things which, happens right now. Will that happen at that moment also? Or no, my body will cooperate?
Okay, let me put it in this. All enlightened masters, they are meditating 24/7. Okay, 24/7, not 12 hours. Because all the time, they are in a meditative awareness state. They don't need to sit for meditation. Talking, eating, even going to toilet, they're meditating. Okay, taking bath, meditating. Driving, meditating. Okay, so the idea that to meditate, you have to keep aside some time, you have to sacrifice the food, and drop that idea. Okay. When you go to that level, all the time you're meditating. All the time in the background, you're meditating. And you just get connected. This talking, what is coming out from this mouth, it is not Rajdeep's talking. It's just a connected, and whatever the masters want, that word's coming out from me. That's all. At this moment also, I'm meditating. Okay. So it doesn't matter how many hours and how to meditate. Okay. Even during sleep also, you're meditating. 24/7.
While sleeping, when you're meditating, are you aware of that?
No, if you wish, you can. It is a choice.
Okay.
You know exactly what happened during your sleep. It is possible. Okay, so, but at the same time, it is your choice. As I said, the 7-story building, if you like to choose a normal single-story life, you can lead that, no problem. You choose not to remember anything during sleep, it is your choice. If you want to remember everything, it is your choice. Okay, so if you all the time you wanted to be in touch with the oneness, it is your choice. All the time not to get connected to spirituality, operate from your ego only, possible. Okay, everything is possible. It's a choice.
Okay.
Okay, so that's how it works.
Fine. Thank you.
All right. God bless you.
आप दोनों तो डरा दिया मेरे को डिजाइन नहीं होंगे तो आई खाने का शौकीन हूँ तो I will not walk in that path of spirituality.
You don't have to lose anything. You enjoy your life. We are walking householder spirituality, enlightened billionaire. All right. So, any other question? Yes, Vidya, go ahead.
Sir, initially I had found it a little difficult to accept the various phases that keeps happening in the journey. For example, some cleansing or because of changes in awareness, some sleep pattern changes and everything. But now I have accepted it, but now I'm facing another problem that suppose I'm not able to sleep or suppose some pattern change or something happens and I accept it, but practically I need to work, I need to meet some expectations of the family or everything, but the body doesn't support in some cases. So even though I accept, it is not very...
No, see, you are in the transition period. That's why, it's a matter of acceptance, non-acceptance is coming. Two things here. Once, if you don't get a sleep, you meditate. 1 hour meditation will be equivalent to 2 hours of sleep. Okay. So if in the night, if you're not getting sleep, just get up and sit down in a meditation and that should be fine. If you meditate for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, that will take care of whole night. Even if you don't sleep anything, it will be fine. Body-wise, I mean. Okay. That is about the first one. And second about that, whatever your, expectation of others in the family or wherever, you do whatever best you can and rest you leave it to the divine. You don't have to live other people's expectation, life as per other people's expectation. It is not possible. Okay. You can only do whatever best is possible. Only you do that and rest you leave it to the divine and let the thing takes on its own course. Okay, so this is also another approach that we have to accept. If somebody is not happy, let it be. Okay. Because we can only do this much. So as I was telling, after doing, say, your 150%, you may not make somebody happy. Or if somebody is cordial with you, even if you do 20%, they will be happy. Okay, so it doesn't depend on how much you do and don't do. So that's what I'm saying. You give your 100% and rest you leave it to the divine. That's it. Why 100%? So that you don't feel guilty later on that I could have done more. That's why. Only because of that, not because of others.
Sir, what I also was asking is that, for example, night I don't sleep or something, I'm not able to sleep and then I meditate, or the next day still I feel tired but I have to work because it's a working day or something like that, and I sometimes I just have headache and I don't know, I sometimes find it very difficult to balance both spirituality and everything else I have to do.
No, that's what I'm saying. Physically, if you have the meditated, you don't need that sleep. Only the idea that I didn't get sleep will make you sick. Okay, that idea need to drop. Physically is saying, okay, physically, if you say 4 hours, if you total meditate in a day, you don't need sleep. 8 hours sleep is the equivalent of that. But only mind can play, oh, I didn't sleep last night, I didn't sleep last night. That make you sick. That the headache comes because of that thought, not because of absence of sleep. Yeah? That's what I'm saying, physically. Okay. Drop that idea. That's what I'm saying. Rest, you leave it to the divine. You know, that then you start the day after a certain time, it will be over. Now, of course, if you need after that work is over, you can sleep a little bit and that's fine. But in general, body-wise, you don't. If you meditate, that's what I was telling. 2 hours sleep equivalent 1 hour meditation. That is a rough thumb rule, and that meditation can be anytime, not necessarily during night only. In a day, 24-hour cycle. If you meditate for 3 hours, it is equivalent to 6 hours of sleep. Okay. So, and rest, why I mentioned transition, I'm come back to you, Supriya. Why I mentioned it is happened, the transition period means, see, it is all our, even during this period, our body cells are also changing. It's not for everybody. Everybody is feeling tired, okay, at a certain point, and they need more sleep and all. It is common for everybody. It's not for you only. Because of some other external factors, that the vibration of earth is changing, our body cells are changing. I also explained that kind of things earlier as well. So it is because of that, not because of your absence of sleep. Okay. Only your idea, you think it is because of my absence of sleep, I'm getting tired. It is not true. Okay. That's what I'm telling you. Okay. So just go with the flow and see what comes, but just, you know, don't encourage any idea because of absence of sleep, I'm getting tired. That idea need to go. That's all. Okay. All right. Okay. God bless you. Yes, Supriya?
Yeah, so this is something that you may not, I mean, if you want to, you can answer now. Otherwise, for lack of time, maybe it can be a different session. I just wanted to ask this because often I have heard whenever some questions come or even otherwise is that yes, you accept it or you surrender or in various discussions you have said and you enjoy life. Okay, that has been your advice or your guidance in means you enjoy life. So what does enjoy life mean? I mean, what is the meaning of enjoy life, quote unquote, enjoy life? What does that mean?
Enjoy life means when you operate from that level where these things, when you say you see the perfectness is everything. You are one with that divinity and you see the perfectness is everything. Even in the pain, I give an example that the nail and all this kind of thing. Even if in the pain you find out this is the purpose and how beautifully it has been played out, your life become magically changed. External situation of your life will not change. Even my advice is even don't expect that to change. Particularly if it is related to somebody else. Most of the people, they lead their life, if the other party changes, my life will be better. No, okay, that will never happen. You need to change. Okay, you need to change, go to that level where that power, power of acceptance, power of that pure love, power of self-love, you are operating from there. And then your way of looking at life will change completely. It is not depending upon who said what or who is doing what, who is good, who is bad, doesn't matter. Okay, you accept the things as they are. If somebody is behaving, erratically, then even you, earlier I think somebody, Shweta, I think asked me some question on how to accept, deal with the criticism and things from others and all this. I told that example that suppose you are visiting an asylum, mental hospital. Somebody came out and shouting at you. Some lady maybe came out and shouting at you and things like that. What will be your feeling? Will it be retaliatory? You will again shout it back to her? You will not. Because you know that lady is coming out from asylum. She's a patient. She needs compassion. She needs healing. And when that mode comes, your love will automatically comes out from you. When you look at you project that asylum scenario in your world. Okay, not to demean someone, just to say that you treat that it is like a bigger asylum. Then your way of looking at people will change. You pray for them, you say compassion for them, you will not criticize them, and any thought of any kind of retaliation will come. So in the bargain, what will happen is your life will change. Nobody else will change. And it is not your duty either. You are not God. So don't play God. You're not duty to change everyone and make everybody spiritual and make everybody this. It's not none of your duty. If somebody is willing, yes, you help. That's it. Okay. When you operate from that level where what somebody else is doing, not doing, doesn't matter. You are always, because you have so much of powerful self-love, you are operating of that, you are oozing out, and not only that, you are sharing. Then your life will be transformed into something, it is called Jivan Madhurya. Okay, the nectar of life. You will be all the time, you will be experiencing that. And that's how the life will change. Not by the external factors. Just getting connected to the pure love. And then we also connect with other in that level, because everybody, also I said many times earlier, everybody, all souls are Prema Sarupa. Everybody is created out of pure love originally. See, you can connect with them with a pure love, so all the lower level judgments and things will go. So you will be fine, no matter what they are. Okay, so that is the internal transformation that changes the life. External duties, external things will be there at its own place. We have to still pay bill, we have to still earn money, and we have a physical body, it will fall sick, we have to meet with the doctor. None of these things will be treated as that there is some lack somewhere. No lack. Body is following their own principle. And I'm just playing a role of something, role of a husband, or role of a father, or say role of a mother or sister or daughter, or whatever your role you are playing is fine. Do as best as you can and leave it to the divine. Okay, so that is the transformation I was talking about. Let me put it in this way. When you are merged with the light, darkness in your life cannot exist, because you are that light. You cannot experience darkness if you are the light. Okay, in affirmation statement, somebody I think posted again, if you see, the last word is I am love. If you are truly pure love, no fear can exist in your world. Okay, so be the light. When you be the light, not only your life will be lit up, enlightened, you will share the light to many. Dispel darkness of others, darkness of ignorance or awareness. Okay. And that will give you the much bigger sense of purpose. And that's how what Vikas was asking, I was answering. You become a divine agent. Your individuality will go. You yourself will no longer exist, but you will be a part of the divine. Your purpose of life will be multifolded. You are influencing thousands of people from darkness to at least delta light. Okay, whatever it is. At least something, some help somewhere. So that will make the drastic change in your, in your way. So that your life will not be limited to your own family, your work alone. Then you become operating from the universal level. Vasundhaiva Kutumbakam. Much, much wider. And it will happen automatically. You need not to struggle and to reach there. It will automatically happen. Only thing what you need to do, you clean your systems and hold the light. And operate from pure love. That's it. Okay, that somehow address your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Okay. God bless you.